Good morning, everyone. This is Florida Plant Mama coming to you from Zone 10A, Central Florida, where I garden in my backyard. It is another beautiful day. Temperature is right now probably in the very low 70s, which is fabulous. And I think I've finally done it, people. I'm back to gardening regularly. I think I've done it. I think I've finally ditched the blues that I get every year around September, October, November, right when the lighting starts to change. It gets dark a lot earlier. I get what's called a little seasonal affective disorder. Much better now that I live in Florida than when I lived in New York, New Jersey area, but still there. Right around the fall month, I try and get myself all revved up and plant things in the garden for fall season. But by the time the fall season progresses, I'm just like, ugh, done. I forget all about the garden. I spend less time in there. I make all kinds of excuses. Working too much, not enough time, it's cold, it's too dark, you name it. And this year, I tried to get around that a little bit by kind of doing some sprinkling of things here and there, but I still ended up walking away. And as you can see from the last video, I had some things grow that I forgot I even directly sowed. So hopefully I can gradually get better at this, but that's behind me for now because spring season is right around the corner and I am so excited about it. So I'm out here today and I figured I'd take you with me on the little chores I'm doing to get this garden prepped and ready, and for the planting that I am continuing to do even now at the end of December going into January. Because the temperatures here are kind of mild, we can get away with growing things pretty much throughout the year. So I'm getting those things that are kind of semi-cold season in, bok choy, cabbages, onions. I'm still doing some rounds of the onions, and we'll see what else. Come on with me and see what I do today. Thanks so much for watching. First things first, I'm gonna go ahead and harvest these Roselle calyxes. As you can see, the plant is still thriving, but the calyxes are a lot smaller than they were at the beginning of the season. And I think I'm actually going to remove the remainder of these plants and go ahead and get this bed ready for Chinese cabbage, Chinese broccoli, and some bok choy or pak choy. So I'm gonna do that in the front of the bed, and in the back of the bed, I will get that area prepped for cucumbers when it's time. I went ahead and removed the Mexican flame vine from this trellis, as well as the jasmine from this, because I wanted to make room for cucumbers to trellis up this cattle panel here. I think I grew cucumbers on this trellis the first year that I planted it, and they did well, but I planted them a little too late in the season, so the insects got them. This year I'm trying to get an early start so I can finally get some cucumbers. Cucumbers, beets, and red cabbage. I have such a hard time with those plants. So that's the goal for the new year, to grow these nemesis plants. See how small they are? I like it when the calyxes are big and juicy. But these will do for final harvest. Now, I guess I could leave them on and see if they get a little bit better, but this is the risk I run when I leave them on there. They start to get kind of nasty looking, little fungus maybe, I don't know. They get diseased when you try and let them get too big, too far in the season. So that one will be discarded. It's not a bad one. This is an example of the size they should be, or the preferred size for picking. See that? Do you see the difference between that and, say, this one? Now most will tell you to cut the plant at space instead of pulling it out, but I yanked them out because I don't want this bed to be root bound, and I'm going to go right ahead and plant again in this bed. So I can't really afford to have the roots taking up that valuable real estate. They were ready to come up though because their roots are kind of beat up and shallow, way too easy to pull out. I've decided that I am not going to use this straw mulch on the garden beds anymore. And now I'm gonna scoop them up and put them in this worm bin I have here. They'll break down over time. But the reason why I made that decision is because I do a lot of direct sowing, and I found that it was a little bit difficult to get seeds in the dirt and not have them covered over by this straw mulch. It worked really well for the roselle, but I couldn't plant any little seeds around the roselle. And now, since I'm going to be planting something different in this bed, we'll just get rid of this mulch and make my life a little bit easier. Also, I've got to amend this bed, and I can't do that with this straw mulch in the way. It's a pretty thick layer. Now, I've got a problem here. I've just discovered a family of ants growing in this bed. Apparently, they were enjoying this straw mulch as well. So, this is going to require a lot more effort in prepping this bed than I thought. Yeah, now they're mad. I'm turning the soil a bit to disrupt the ants. Normally I try not to disturb my soil too much, because you also disturb the natural microbiome in there. I kind of want to scare off these ants. I'm going to top this off with a little garden soil. For now, the organic soil will add some much needed nutrients so that I can plant as early as today while I wait to get my amendments from the big box store. Just a little fertilizer. I really do try to clean as I go. So once I get this area straightened out a bit, I can move on to the next. Now that the space has been tidied up and the ants have pretty much run for the hills, I am going to go ahead and mix in the fertilizer that I placed. It is organic fertilizer, so there's no worries about it burning my seeds or my seedlings as they emerge. So that's one good thing about using organic fertilizer. You can pretty much not use too much, which is nice. As you can see, I've relocated this marigold to this corner here. It was over there before and kind of in the way. I've got here yad fa, or Chinese broccoli, Chinese cabbage, lettuce. This is Yeticule lettuce. I think I'm pronouncing that correctly. Butter crunch lettuce, the beets, and some baby choy. So I'm gonna go ahead and put those things in this bed. So my strategy is not to plant out this entire bed. I think I'm only going to do half of it today because I plan to go back and do some succession sowing. So in another 2 weeks, I'll come out and sow something else. So I've kind of made 4 squares here, 1, 2, 3, 4. And I'm gonna do a little bit of square foot gardening in this space. We'll start with the beets. I think, actually, I'm gonna go with the taller item first. We're gonna do Chinese cabbage. The Chinese cabbage is 1 per square, but I think I'm going to go ahead and put in 2, just in case one does not germinate. And I'm putting 2 seeds in each hole for the same reason. They're very small seeds, so they don't have to go deep at all. So there, we've got a couple of Chinese cabbage. Now let's do the baby choy. I'll do 6 in each square. I think that'll be good. Same thing, 2 seeds in each hole, and I will thin them out later. I am going to put a couple of butter crunch, a little row of butter crunch in this section here. Butter crunch. These I will do as cut and come again instead of a full head. All right, I'll forego the beets this time. Since I've got them planted in a few different places, I really want to get some of these Chinese broccoli. And I want to be able to harvest them and actually eat them and not just let them go to seed. So I'm going to put 6 in this space. Careful not to plant on top of where I just put that lettuce. There, I've got a bed planted. All right, let's move on to the next task. Here is the other area of jungle that I need to get cleared out today. Hopefully I can finish it and get this space under control again. I've got some more roselle to harvest. They're much bigger here. I'm thinking, I will plant roselle here again next time because look how big those calyxes are. Here's a ginormous one. Insects got to it. If you can't tell by now, let me just tell you, I am not a how-to YouTube content maker. I'm more of a how I do YouTube content maker. Every year I strive to get better at this gardening thing, and I'm just working with the space that I have, learning my microclimates, general climate, that's all, and I just try to better myself every year. Sometimes I do things completely wrong, and sometimes I do them perfectly, and then I try to recreate whatever experiment I did well. Not too shabby. Another space cleared up for the day. It's looking good. My bay leaf is now exposed, as well as my tiny and struggling pawpaw tree. We have pigeon peas here. They are doing great. I didn't take them down because they are now flowering, as you can see. So I will leave them there. These are 4 of the few remaining bags that I have left. I have begun to eliminate the bags from the garden. Don't worry, I gifted the bags to someone who is using them wisely. We've got a bunch of bananas. I believe that one there is the plantain that I planted in January. Another pigeon pea and a surprise rack of bananas. Mulberry. Now, if you're wondering, I don't remove these dry banana leaves during this time of year because they act as insulation against any cold or frost that we may develop. So it doesn't look pretty, but it does have a purpose. I do bend them and let them drape along the stem of the plant though, so that they do insulate this portion. This, I think, will be the final area of cleanup and planting before I call it quits for the day. I want to get this jasmine off of this trellis. I went ahead and cut it back at the base, but it still hasn't died yet. I just want to pull it all off because I want to do something a little bit different here. We do have blue sky vine growing in here, but the jasmine is just getting a little bit too invasive, so I want to remove that. We've got a bunch of pigeon pea trees, I guess, here in this area, and they have actually got some peas on them that will be ready to harvest soon. I'm quite happy with how the pigeon peas have done here, but I need to kind of attach them a little bit to this trellis so that they are not directly in my walkway. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that first. I'm just using the tomato clips. Down here, I've got sun hemp. I'm just gonna pull that out. Makes a very pretty flower. I made the mistake of tossing spent or uprooted Mexican flame vine back behind the tomato trellis there, and as my punishment, it's kind of growing around everywhere now. So I'm finding that I'm pulling it out of places. Don't do what I did. If you're going to discard Mexican flame vine, the best thing to do is to set it out and let it die completely before you put it in either compost or the yard waste area if you're not going to dispose of it in the trash. So I've made some space to put in a little red acre cabbage, some golden beauty cabbage, and some baby choy. I'm also gonna pop in a few sugar snaps that I've saved from last year. I'm trying really hard to do succession sowing. I think the timing is pretty good for some German chamomile too, so I'm gonna go ahead and sprinkle a few seeds in these bags I've got in the area. Now they are super, super tiny. Doesn't take much, and they need light to germinate, so I just sprinkle them down. That's it for today, folks. Thank you so much for watching, and have a blessed and beautiful day. Bye now.